Feather crochet has got me in a chokehold, you hear me? And this one I did completely in individuals. It's entirely done in feather crochet. Not only do I have the effortless look of bundles, this hair is reusable. So let's get into it. Today's video is brought to us by our friends over at Toyotress. They sent me over 5 bundles of their 12-inch feather crochet in Ocean Wave. If you're not familiar with feather crochet, it is human hair tied together with a very thin thread. This not only makes crochet human hair easier, but there's absolutely no shedding and the hair is reusable. Toya Tress offers all 5 bundles as a package, but if you like to mix and match colors, you can also purchase individual bundles. Now let's get into this install. First off, my hair is already pre-parted. I did not do it myself this time. I actually enlisted the help of one of my braiders. Last time I did my pre-parting, it took me about 2 hours and it's never as crisp as I would like it to be. So I made sure to get on my girl Jasmine's books. So I wanted to show you guys real quick the state of my hair. Remember, I started in January with a very short pixie, and this is how much it has grown out. And please don't mind TT looking at me. She is always giving me a side eye. Bruh. I was really glad I was able to get on somebody's books this time because everybody be booked up. She was able to give me some medium box parting in less than an hour. Now let me show you how easy this install was. Now for each braid, I used about 3 to 4 strands of hair. I'm going to show you 2 different install methods. Whichever method you choose is up to you, but the method I chose worked best for my hair type. Remember, it is pretty fine. So the first thing I'm going to do is extend the braid. I'm going to insert with the loop going downward. Before I pull it all the way through, I'm going to grab the braid and hook it on to the loop. This is basically going to be a hook down method to keep the hair in place. Once that is secure, I'm going to start braiding with my natural hair as the third leg. When I get closer to the ends, I'm just going to start borrowing until I run out of hair. This method works for me because my hair is still pretty short. As I moved up a little bit higher, I did change the method to feeding in the hair at the ends because I had a little bit more length to hold the hair in. So you have 2 options. Because the thread is so thin, you can start at the base and start braiding from there, or you can feed the hair in and just extend your braid from there. I didn't find it necessary to knot the ends, especially if you have coarser hair, more texture. It should hold the braid in place, but if you have much finer textures and you think you need more security, just grab a small strand of hair and tie it in a knot at the end. Once I've got the braid done, I'm going to take the remaining strands and crochet them at the root. How you do this is very important. You see how I'm looping it down, but I'm not pulling it all the way through. I had to do this because the threads can kind of snag on your hair. So instead, I just pulled it through once and then grabbed the braid and pulled that through the loop as well. So that's another hook down method. Now, I did find that this method was not as secure, but it does hold, especially if you have coarser texture hair. So I switched to this method instead, where I pulled it through and then did a one-sided leg pull through. So I pulled the other end of it through, and then that gave me more security. Here's another closer look at that. I'm going to pull the loop through, and then I'm going to pull the crochet hook through that loop, grab one side of the leg and pull that through. Now, as I got closer to the top and my hair got thicker, to make the braid, I inserted 2 of them instead of 1. But this time, instead of hooking it through and pulling the braid through, I just pulled it all through at once and then started braiding. If you are not the best at borrowing, then you may want to do 2 at the root to start your braid. That way, all you have to do is add 1 leg to your natural hair. I was also very careful not to use a lot of product. I only used the product when I got to the ends of my natural hair. That just kind of helps solidify the braid in there. And again, for the roots, I did the one-sided leg method. Here's another close-up. When I got closer to the top and my braids were getting longer, I started inserting a piece here and there throughout the shaft of the braid to help conceal the braid more and to evenly distribute the weight of this hair. As you can see, it is pretty full. Now, I cannot take full credit for this idea. I'm pretty sure a lot of you have seen this video floating around. As soon as I saw this, I immediately put this on my list of things to do because, girl, what? The only difference is the type of hair I'm using and the parting size. You can see she did hers a bit smaller. If you're gonna do a bit smaller, make sure you count how many threads you have so that you know how many to put on each braid. I used 3 to 4 strands per braid, and I used every stitch of all 5 bundles. So I wanted you to see the hair in its natural state. This is it freshly installed. This is their ocean wave, definitely giving body wave lots of fullness, lots of bounce. I have not brushed it or combed it yet. This is the 12 inches and it falls about armpit length on me. They do have other lengths and colors ranging from 10 inches to 16 inches. At this point, I didn't know exactly how I was going to style it, but I did wear it for a few days and it did survive all of my workout. If you're tender-headed, this is the way to go, because if you do traditional crochet, you're not going to be able to sleep like a baby that night like I did. A few days later, I decided it needed some shaping, so this is what I came up with. I cut off about 2 or 3 inches at the bottom just to give it a blunt cut, and I also cut some layers into the side and the back to round the shape out. I do plan to reuse this hair, so I am going to be careful about taking it out. I'm going to remove it row by row and label them. If I did want to reuse this hair for traditional boho braids, that is definitely an option. This is actually the hair a week out. It is super fluffy. I had no issues with it tangling. All I did was brush it with my paddle brush. I did stay away from combs and detangling brushes because I didn't want any of the tea to snag on my actual braid. Now, I probably only get about 6 weeks of wear out of this because I do not want to wash my braids in this style because my braids will likely loosen up. Now, like I said before, when it comes to human hair, you do not want to overload this hair with products. I have nothing in this hair, not even oil sheen. So yeah, that completes today's look. As always, if you learned something new, make sure you like this video and share it with a friend. Special thanks to our friends over at Toyotress for sponsoring today's video. All the details you need about this hair and products used will be listed in the description box below. If you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button on your way out, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye!